Ready. Play.
Someone who was on that list of like potential question marks of whether they were going to play was Iga Swiatek. She's definitely going.
She's confirmed it when she confirmed her new coach, right?
That's correct. Yes, I was going to say she's confirmed. She's definitely going, and she's bringing her new coach, Wim Fissette, which, let's face it, was the obvious choice for a lot of people, given his CV of basically he was the most decorated in terms of Grand Slam champions he's worked with. I wasn't super convinced that he was the best choice. Iga Swiatek is the better judge of that for what she wants. So let's see how this partnership works out. And it's going to be a heck of a baptism of fire to go straight into the WTA finals with this. But hey, useful data gathering exercise, I suppose.
As defending champion, more power to her. I think that Wim Fissette is obviously accomplished as a coach. I think he's had some great pupils to help him in that. So we shall see where that goes. I'm not convinced that it's going to be a long partnership or necessarily fruitful one, but we will definitely be able to see more clearly how things are going when she steps back onto the clay in 6 months or so time. So, yeah.
It sounds like you and I have very similar perspectives on Wim Fissette, because I think I put a tweet out saying I haven't seen him make a significant long-term impact on any of his players that he's coached. Like there's usually like a short-term boost. They'll get a big result and then it kind of tails off a little bit. But that's actually got me thinking about kind of the role of a coach on the Pro Tour, because I think we have this idea of a coach being someone who is a director or someone who molds a player in an image they have an idea of. But actually, maybe in the WTA, maybe most coaches, when you look at sort of the actual interactions we see on court or maybe behind the scenes, coaches are more of sounding boards, analytical support for like looking back at matches and like looking into what may have gone wrong and being an encourager and an enabler of a player to be the best version of themselves. I think that's kind of where I'm leaning towards it. Certainly, that seems to be the style of thing that Wim Fissette is going for. But I thought that's my current thoughts on the matter. Maybe I was interested to see who my guest was, so I could get their perspective on it. So Miles, go for it.
I think looking at this list now, I think are you familiar with the term trophy wife?
Yes.
I think Wim Fissette is a little bit of a trophy coach. I think he has a very decorated and obvious why wouldn't you pick this player if he's available kind of aura to him, and that has allowed him to rack up the names that we see on the screen now, which are all accomplished names. I think everybody on that list has made it to a Grand Slam final except maybe one or two.
And some have gotten really close.
Yeah, some have got really, really close. They've been top 10 players for sure.
I think the only one who's not is Konta.
And yeah, I think so.
She arguably had good opportunities to at Wimbledon 2017 and the French in 2019.
Venus stopped one of those, which I'm partial to. But yeah, I think I think that's why he's been able to kind of get close to some of these very, very high elite players, especially in the women's tour, is because he looks great on paper. Like he comes with a lot of experience, and there has to be some reason. I'm not saying this to kind of to dig at him or to like scrounge through a reason because I dislike him, because that's not true. I don't dislike him, but there clearly is a bit of a pattern there. So we'll see where Iga falls in the Wim Fissette pattern. If we get immediate results and she lifts the Australian Open trophy or something like that, or I don't know. It's hard. Like I've said in previous episodes, it's hard for me to kind of picture where a world number one goes, even a world number two, with a brand spanking new coach, especially in Iga's case where there isn't necessarily something super obvious that she needs to improve. That's not like super glaringly obvious. If we nitpick, we can find some things, but like, what do you tell somebody that has been the most dominant player for the past 4 years? you know.
No, I would agree
So
with that.
I'm just interested to see
Yeah.
how that's gonna go.
I'd agree with that assessment of Iga. Like, there's nothing obvious to improve. It's more staying ahead of the pack. I say the one point in Wim Fissette's favour is maybe Kim Clijsters, because she only tailed off because of injury, and actually there was quite a sustained period of success when she was fit. She got 3 slams with him on hard courts. She got back to world number 1. But your comment about trophy coaches, would you not say the same thing about Naomi Osaka's new coach, Patrick Mouratoglou?
Yes.
Well, that was easy.
Yes. I would say the same thing. And I think his trophy coachness, if that's a phrase I want to go with, is elevated even more so because of who he was attached to for so long. So I think if we're looking at like trophy coaches, it would be Mouratoglou than Wim Fissette, because he was coaching the absolute best for so long. And it was a very clear, like, lose first round of a major, get this coach, next major you play, you win it. And you go on to like have this second career renaissance that Serena did under Mouratoglou's guidance, I would say. So yeah, I think both of them are skilled in coaching tennis. I want to make sure that's very clear. I'm not like trying to negate the fact that obviously both of them could probably wipe me under a mat in pointing out a player's techniques where they need to improve and all that stuff they're accomplished. But I do think they benefit from kind of like that, you know, that godly aura. Like, oh, look at who they worked with. Maybe they could kind of, you know, sprinkle some of that effects on me. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, look, by the way,
Even Naomi Osaka said that. She was like, I didn't know if he was a good coach or if he had just worked with Serena, because that's very helpful to get a pupil like that. So we'll see where that goes.
how are you feeling about that Osaka partnership, by the way? Because we haven't talked about that.
Way too early to tell. I mean, I think it was great that she was able to win, I think, 3 matches in Beijing. Unfortunate that her back locked up on her, but I think it's too early to tell if that's going to be a relationship that is, 1, fruitful, and 2, like, long term. I'm talking, you know, 24 months and more. Because I think that is, I mean, I think at minimum you want to give yourself 12, but 24 is where you can kind of get a very take your personal feelings outside of it. What have we accomplished in this 24-month time frame? Let's reevaluate. If you want to give yourself that much time. Sometimes tennis players are impatient and don't feel like they have 24 months to invest in a coaching relationship to see if it's working. But we will see. I do think the landing strip, I guess, in Osaka's time with Mouratoglou is going to be interesting, because she has so much time on hard courts from now until April. And that's where she's done a large amount of her damage. So it'll be interesting to see if she does have like this, you know, hit the ground running success in 2025. Will it be because she's with Mouratoglou, or will it be because she spent a whole season of 2024 getting reacclimated to tour life, and she's now found her footing on a surface that has been so fruitful for her, which is hard court, and this part of the season where Australia, Indian Wells, and Miami are all, you know, put together in the first 3 months of the season. So we will see.
Yeah, I can see that happening as well. I think, yeah, the key thing with Osaka is going to be how she does on these hard courts, and whether Mouratoglou can reignite something in her, like a lot of other coaches do. Because I am still leaning towards the role of the coaches to help the player be the best version of themselves. Although I can see an argument for there being 2 different types of coaches as well in that. But yeah, I by the way, I think if you haven't checked out the Mouratoglou interview that John did, go do that. It's on the Talking Tennis YouTube channel. But yeah, I think that if Mouratoglou does help Osaka kind of reignite something and get back on court firing, same with Wim Fissette and Iga, you know, get some confidence back, starts to grow a little bit more and continue the development. I think that's going to be super exciting. The question is what happens with the long term. But certainly when you look at sort of the coaches that do last a long time, they are very much about coaches who players feel comfortable with
and can trust. Yeah.
And they can trust. And I think that's the key thing that we're kind of exploring here, is that really the role of a coach isn't, it's not a director. It is someone that a player works with in helping them achieve.
I do think though, I think you said the word like reignite. I actually think Osaka is pretty ignited. I just think I think the passion has been there the most I've seen it in the past couple of years of just simply wanting to be on the tennis court and playing tennis. But what I think Mouratoglou should be doing is kind of refining and maybe even going back to the Osaka before pre-pandemic 2018 2019 Osaka when she was working with Sasha Bain, and like the focus being on point construction and what's the word, rally tolerance, because I think that is where she's not digging in the way she used to. And if she can improve on those things, especially in the time that we're going to be, like I said, on the hard court, I think that plus the invigoration that I kind of feel from her of wanting to get back to the top tennis, I think that'll be a nice full package if Mouratoglou can kind of increase those areas for Naomi Osaka with his time in the off season, which I think he's going to get now because she also pulled out of this week's Toray Pan Pacific Open in Tokyo. So
yeah, I don't think she's playing BJK Cup either, is she?
I mean, honestly, I know people are kind of waiting for Osaka to have. I know people are kind of waiting for like Osaka's back kind of moment, but if you look at the numbers, I think she said this in some statement. She played a lot of tennis this year, a lot of tournaments. Like she played quite a bit. I think it was over 18 events she played this season, and she hasn't done that in years. I think that is a testament, and I think she, in that sense, deserves to kind of put it down for a couple of weeks and recalibrate before she goes to Australia. So,
if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.